My. Was not expecting to do another podcast today. But here we are. Here we are. Oh dear. And I am doing call-ins, by the way. I am going to do call-ins. Please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button. Unfortunately, my last two videos were very poorly monetized. I think because I was talking about some of the threats against Harry and that flag that was at Sandringham. So I think they've maybe picked up my videos as things that advertisers would not want to advertise next to. So any extra donations today will be much appreciated because my last two videos were heavily demonetized. But that aside, here we go. Yes. At the last minute, there seems to have been an offer to allow Harry to stay at Buckingham Palace. This is so obviously just them playing games. Because if they wanted to offer Harry anything, they would have a long time ago. Did Harry not give 30 days notice? And there's been all this back and forth, leaking in the tabloids. Harry was offered this place, he was offered that place by Charles. Charles trying to make himself look good. At the end of the day, Harry still needs his security. Wherever he goes, Harry needs his security and armed security and trusting armed security. And like I have continued to say, by the way, I don't even trust the armed security of the United Kingdom to keep Harry safe. That's His Majesty Police, His Majesty's Army, His Majesty's Guards. So even if Harry did get armed security, I will maintain that I don't think he's safe. I think the whole establishment is out to get him and his family. And I think he is mighty brave by continuing to go back. Granted, he only goes back for his charity events, and I don't think anybody would want to try anything then. But it's still dangerous nonetheless. Yes, R.R. Carter, more drama. Here we are doing a second podcast. I think that something is going to come out tomorrow that is quite damaging. Now, please also remember, in the middle of all of this, Camilla and Charles hired a very senior former editor of the Daily Fail to be part of the communications team. And who is being sued in this court case? One of the publications is the Daily Fail. And I think that Daily Fail editor and some other senior people at the Daily Fail and Jonathan Rothermere, who is a friend of Camilla, by the way, just 2 weeks after Meghan won her court case against the Daily Fail for publishing her father's letter, Camilla was at an event front row with Jonathan Rothermere, kissing him cheek to cheek. I don't know if there's anything that's going to come out in this lawsuit that is compromising specifically to the other members of the royal family, but the other members of the royal family, Charles, Camilla, William, Kate, are in bed with the Daily Fail. I think that this is a sign that the Daily Fail have lost. I think they are panicking. What an utterly stupid checkers play. That's what it is. It's not even checkers, honey. This is tic-tac-toe. Tic-tac-toe. Last minute, saying to Harry, come to Buckingham Palace. Now Harry has said no. Now let's have a look at the statement. Utterly ridiculous. And I've also said that staying in a royal residence, bad idea. You're a sitting duck. A spokesperson for the Duke of Sussex said, following Rabeck's decision not to provide security for his family, the Duke spent last week making alternative security arrangements. Once those arrangements were in place, he was able to formally accept the offer of accommodation for himself over the weekend. It is therefore disappointing that the offer has now been withdrawn, with Tuesday's judgment in the Associated Newspapers Limited case cited as the reason. Why would the judgment of a British tabloid have anything to do with Harry not getting boarding by the Royal Institution? Could it be because one of the senior editors of the Daily Fail is in bed with Charles and Camilla? What does that have to do with Harry's security? Y'all, this is why I'm telling you, it's the whole damn establishment. It's the monarchy, it's the press, and the government too. And the security services too. Buckingham Palace has, however, been aware of that judgment since last Thursday. So the members of the royal family, they know what's in that judgment. Here, I am so glad the spokespeople for Harry and Meghan themselves aren't playing around. I'm so glad that they've put this in the statement. It is therefore unclear why, having formally accepted the accommodation offer, it has now been withdrawn the last moment. What does this court case tomorrow that we're going to hear the result of have to do with Harry getting security or accommodation? How are the two linked? A shambles. An absolute shamble. I'm just scouring Twitter, by the way, to try and get more information. Let's see, what are people posting? Chris Ship is saying, I'm not sure why the son of the monarch can't stay in a room at Buckingham Palace when an independent judge hands down a ruling in a libel unconnected to the king. Does that mean Prince William had to live elsewhere when he sued various publishers, magazines over the years? Let me tell you, Chris Ship and all these people in the tabloids, they know. Another thing that I actually did not realize, let me just grab my notes. Where is it now? Stephen Lawrence's mother is part of this court case, right? So Stephen Lawrence, Doreen Lawrence, right? Her son, Stephen Lawrence, was the black schoolboy who was murdered back in the 90s. And first and foremost, the murder itself, absolute scandal. Young boy lost his life. But there was also elements of racism, both towards Stephen and that being part of the reason that he was attacked, but also the way the Metropolitan Police handled the case, right? Now, at the time, the Daily Fail, the lead editor was a man named Paul Duckley. They initially, at least at the beginning, made it seem like they were helping the case and helping to bring it to the public's attention, only for them to turn around like the snakes that they are and start looking into details unnecessarily about Doreen Lawrence, her life, her family. They bugged their family home and their phones. So there's allegations of phone hacking towards Doreen Lawrence and her family, the grieving mother of a murdered schoolboy. Now, something that I actually missed in March and that I didn't even mention on this podcast, my apologies. The cancellation of the Ravrek review in March happened immediately after Paul de Creye left the stand during his portion of the hearing. Paul de Creye, by the way, he actually wrote a piece. I might actually read it out one day, where he talked about the tabloids, and he basically, if I have to sum up what he was saying, sleaze is what keeps the mortgages paid. That's basically what he said. That's what we're dealing with. The members of the royal family, Charles, Camilla, William, Kate, Andrew, have been in bed with the tabloids for a while. Harry and Meghan said, no, we're not playing this sick, disgusting game with you. I mean, the relationship between the tabloid rats, that's what I call them, they're not journalists, and the royals is just weird. It's unethical as far as the public actually getting news that is in the public interest. Because what happens is, in order for the tabloids to get access, they also have to sometimes toe the line with the royals, but they also have this weird controlling dynamic over the royals as well. So they basically blackmail and play games with each other. But I do think that the tabloids generally have the upper hand. And Harry and Meghan said, we're not doing that. More so, Harry and Meghan don't have anything in their closets to hide that the tabloids can hang over them. But Charles and Camilla, I think, bringing in that senior editor of the Daily Fail, I think that was a friends close, enemies closer play. Let me I'll put the link in the chat if anybody wants to come up. Oh my. Sorry, if you hear me pausing, folks, it's just because I am just continuously looking at Twitter to see if there's any updates, because this is like literally within the last hour. Let's see what you're saying. C-Mac, hey, you said this family is a joke. They are proving they did dine it in. This is literally what everybody's been saying. Hang on a sec, folks. Organised by level staffing and hospitality. It's too late logistically to organise by level staffing and hospitality and all the other logistics that need to take place in order to have Prince Harry stay inside Buckingham Palace. The other point they've made is, of course, Prince Harry has a case against the Daily Mail, which is due to conclude, or the results are due to be published on Tuesday, which puts the king in a compromising constitutional. So I don't know if you just heard that, but this is actually from BBC News, where they're saying Harry's verdict puts the king in a constitutional compromising position. You know, the press is meant to hold institutions of power accountable, and the institution of the monarchy, because the United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy, is first and foremost meant to be accountable to itself and also help to hold other governing bodies accountable. It's meant to be. What you have instead is just corruption everywhere. They're all corrupt. This is insane for a modern democracy to be like this. This isn't democracy. Rebecca, you said the offer at Buckingham Palace is not new. It was discussed last week. It was said Harry turned it down because it is one way in and another way out. Well, it seems to have come up again at the nth hour. But I think last week they were also offering other places as well. But for some reason, this has specifically kicked off now. Jules, you said the British media are insane. I don't blame Meghan. I would never step foot in the UK and sure wouldn't bring my kids. They are not protected. Something would happen. It seems like they want something to happen. Let's see what else is going on here. Mind you, since 2020, the Sussexes have had visits to the Netherlands, Australia, Germany, Canada, Nigeria, Colombia, Ukraine, Jamaica. Harry went to Japan, Singapore, Mozambique, Rwanda, Jordan, South Africa. Am I missing any? Am I missing any? If I'm missing any, let me know. All while residing in the US. None of these countries ever made such an issue about security and accommodation. None. What is this? Did I miss any? Let me know if I missed any. Tomorrow's going to be wild, y'all. Tomorrow's going to be wild. Let me put up. There was a quote from. Light side is there. I didn't even see you there, hun. Sorry, I'm talking. I'm talking so much. I didn't even see you there. Let me just read this tweet, and then I'll have light side come up. This is so. Oh, sorry. One sec. Um. Richard Palmer said there's more drama over Prince Harry, who's expected to arrive in the UK today. His spokesman said over the weekend he accepted his father's offer to stay at Buckingham Palace while in London, but that offer is now rescinded. Royal sources say he didn't give sufficient notice. That's nonsense. Harry's spokesperson says the reason given was that on Tuesday's judgment will be given in the case he's involved in. That's the reason. So that's the reason the Buckingham Palace gave them? I'm not. And then Chris Ship said, yes, I'm not sure why the son of the monarch can't stay in a room at Buckingham Palace. And what does that have to do with libel? It seems that tomorrow's High Court judgment on Harry and others' case against the publishers of the Daily Fail has made folks nervous at the palace. Concerned about the King's constitutional position, it's been deemed inappropriate to have his son stay in the royal residence. Right, light side, I'll let you speak. Hey.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, well, it's evening over here for
Okay.
me, but go right ahead. I can hear
Good night.
you. Yeah, I'll go straight to
Um,
bed after this. I'll be exhausted.
yeah, I figured I was like wondering what time it was there. Good. Hey, everyone. It's been a minute since I've been here, but I'm gonna apologize because the news is coming hot and heavy, fast and furious, and I I hear an echo. What's going on? Um,
You don't sound echoey.
Okay, perfect. I'll keep going then. So, I honestly I'm still catching up on all this stuff because I think before when we were talking, we weren't even sure if they were going to be going to the UK, right? You know how the tabloid press is like, they always start things and say, "Oh, Harry and Meghan are coming," and nothing happens. They always act like they know what's going on. And so we waited until things were confirmed. And now that we know that they're in Europe and they were there for whatever reasons, it makes sense that they would want to go see maybe Charles, right? If not, maybe no one else but him, considering that the grandkids probably haven't seen their grandfather in that region since they've gotten a little bit older. Okay, with that being said, now that we know that things are true, I would say that they've had ample time to plan for whatever they needed to. The excuse that I just heard you read off from whoever saying that they didn't have enough time to do whatever, that's garbage. We all know any excuse that they have
Mm,
for not accommodating Harry. And I'm gonna back up and even touch on his entire family, because at this point it is not just Harry, Meghan, their two children, they're one unit. If they're there in the UK or they were planning to travel to the UK and you're going to see family, I'm sorry, I don't care how high of a position you're in. Like I don't understand why accommodations couldn't be met for them if they really wanted to. If they really wanted to
mm,
protect them, if they really wanted to provide accommodations, if the intent and the heart of it was pure enough that they were welcoming them without any ill intent, it wouldn't be an issue for them to make accommodations. So it's an excuse about and I've seen someone else say this, like, oh, he didn't respond with enough time. You, I could be wrong, but they weren't even allowing him security. Like there was an agreement where they said they were gonna and please correct me if I'm wrong, that they were going to accommodate them, and then they say, oh, we can't do that anymore, we can't provide security, you can't do X, Y, and Z. I don't understand how they would think in any circumstance that this would be okay. And there's been a pattern of this happening repeatedly, and it seems as if that they're trying to set him up and set his family up to put them in a situation where they would come to harm. Like
mm.
no one, it's hard to not see that. Like no one is looking at this situation. You even have people calling into TV stations, like calling this out, saying that this is an embarrassment. They know what happened to
Yeah.
his mom. We've said this repeatedly. What is hard to miss? They know what the reports have said. They've seen the threats. You even reported on your recent podcast that a Confederate flag, something that's known here in the United States to be something representative of hate, considering the history of the United States and what it means for Black people. Meghan being biracial, their kids being ethnic. I'm just going to say that whether they look white or not, they're still ethnic. Um, and knowing that they were going to be traveling there, potentially, there were rumors that they could be going to the palace to visit the king and be on royal grounds. You're telling me that there's no correlation with that, and even after all of that, you're saying that you're not going to provide protection, and this wishy-washiness and not confirming if he's going to have a place to say, you know what, I don't blame Harry for turning down whatever the heck they were offering him, because I would question even then if adequate resources and the right people would be put in place to actually properly protect him.
Yeah. It's just like you said, you can't come to any other conclusion at this point. And Harry's even said it himself, dark forces, other than you'd you'd want harm to come to Harry and Meghan and their children, especially to Meghan and their children. Meanwhile, Andrew was literally at an event a couple of days ago. He's walking around just fine. It's what can I even say? I feel like I've said everything the last few days. Um,
So question, where does he stand now? Is he still planning on going to, because I know there's Invictus, right? That's still tied to the UK right now.
yeah,
And look, I respect the people of the UK. I'm not, this isn't a condemnation on the people there that actually want the right thing to happen. But this is Harry's bread and butter. Not like he's making money off it, but it's part of who he is and an extension of who he is. And I think like the fact that Invictus is going to be there or it's set to be there, you think they would show a little more respect in ensuring that he has protection. And I, at this point, I'm like, pull it, go somewhere else with Invictus, because this is so, it's disrespectful. It's really
mm,
disrespectful, and it's more nefarious than disrespectful because, again, it seems as though at every instance they're intent on separating him from his wife and his kids.
yeah, yeah. I mean, at this point, I think it goes even beyond separation. They just want them gone. I do wonder, following this though, if they were offering Harry Buckingham Palace and they were offering Harry, I don't think they were offering Harry, Meghan, and the kids. Um, but I think at this point, without security, Harry wouldn't bring them to London at least anyway. Um, if they were offering him Buckingham Palace, then Harry's definitely still coming to London. So I'm wondering where Harry will stay then. I mean, Harry's got lots of friends here. Meghan's got lots of friends here as well. I'd probably stay with one of Meghan's friends. But then, like, it's like, do you want to pull a friend into all of this drama? I don't know. Um, Staying at a hotel, way too risky. I don't know. Maybe like a friend of a friend could book a private, place somewhere. But, oi. And also, I feel like some representatives at Invictus, or someone from the MOD, the Ministry of Defense, or just people involved with Invictus should say something, because that's actually the reason why Harry was coming over and for his work. And if they're doing all of this now, 1 year to go from Invictus, what is this gonna look like next year? That's what I'm also wondering. Boy, Lisa, you said this is a terrible message for the Commonwealth that the king and future king wants harm to come to not only Harry and Meghan, but they don't care if the children get physically hurt as well. Unfortunately, I feel like in some of these Commonwealth countries, they will believe the tabloids probably more than they can actually see the truth in some of these places, especially like um the places that still very heavily look highly upon the monarchy. And you said Harry has stayed in Britain and no one knew where he was. That is true, but I think now they're going to be like vultures. Peggy, you said, I still think this is not about the news thing. This is about Harry not bringing Meghan and the kids to Buckingham Palace. They wanted to be able to abuse Meghan and the kids, and Harry shut that down. I mean, they'll do that regardless. They just won't be able to do it in close proximity. Don't shush me. I love that name. Don't shush me. I really hate they are trying to make all of this Harry's fault when it was one of them that leaked the information and them that made up heaps of stories. Indeed. They're just making themselves look so suspicious. I've never seen my timeline so full of Diana conspiracies. Because the way you're acting like this, let me see what else. Let's see. Disinviting your son to stay in the palace of 700 rooms is a definition of petty. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. The royal family treating an author with a... Okay, no, that's... No. Okay, I don't think any other news is coming up just yet. But from the news that we have, y'all... My prediction also is that Meghan and the children will probably spend time with the Spencer family. That's my gut feeling. If I was Meghan, I mean, Meghan has shown that she's a strong woman, but nobody should have to be this strong. Having said all that, we're only viewing this from the outside. Maybe there's things that they know that we don't know. You know, Harry's smart. He's strategic. Thank you to C-Mac. He said, I was coming here to say, where are military people Harry supporting? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you for that super chat, C-Mac. Much appreciated. Tora, she said, Invictus should never have been set for England. We can all see what's going on. They want harm to come to the Sussex kids and all. I think also the Australia trip, that's very true, Taurus. Thank you. I think also the Australia trip spooked them. I think they saw those crowds because Harry and Meghan said this themselves in the Harry and Meghan documentary. It's the crowds, the front pages. What they don't seem to understand is the worst person you know gets to the front page regularly. Being at the front page doesn't mean that you're impactful or liked. Trump is on the front page of the news every single day. Does that mean he's impactful or liked? Impactful in the worst way. Liked only by crazies. Dr. Dredge, you said the monarchy being booed at every outing. There's no way the palace would let the press show Meghan being celebrated in the UK. I think that's also the part of it. Because every event they're shown up to, the Not My King folk have been there and made a scene. Not My King folk did not show up at Harry's 10th anniversary for Invictus when he went to St. Paul's, and there was a giant crowd. A giant crowd. They don't... If Harry was to have come with Meghan to that St. Paul's event, remember how big the crowd is? Imagine how much bigger it would have been if Meghan had come. The crowds would have been going down the street. But at the events for the other royals these days, there are more barricades than crowds, and the crowds are the protesters, and they don't want that. Trooping this year was abysmal. I think you are so right, Dr. Dreads. The sight of crowds surrounding Meghan is terrifying to them. They know this entire narrative that they have built is a lie. They know that Meghan does have fans. Heck, it's been 4 years. I'm still here. I'm still here. Baron's still here. Other people have joined the space. The difference between Harry and Meghan and the other royals is us lot are online and offline, filling up the shopping carts, spending hundreds of thousands on as ever goods. With the other royals, it's bots online and a few old school royalists in real life. And they have to go to specific places for you to get crowds of them to show up. And it's usually, let's just be honest, a much older crowd and in more rural places if you see a crowd. Or they bring the kids out of schools. Alexa, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, thanks for tagging me. I have a question on that comment that you just made. Like you said something that I think we know really deep down why they're having an issue with this. And I remember I don't know if it was you I was talking to or if it was someone else that made a post on this, but when Kate had mentioned something about when she was like the most uncomfortable in her entire life or something, one of the most uncomfortable
Oh
moments was
yeah.
at the
When they
walkabout.
did that walk, yeah.
Yeah, and someone mentioned too that Kate is not a girl's girl. And I wonder if this is a perfect storm situation. You have Charles, who still wants to be the center of attention and at the forefront of popularity and people's cheers and everything. You have William, which I don't even want to touch. We all know that he has a lot of issues going on. And then Kate, who has I don't even know what you call it, but it is very obvious that she doesn't play well with other women. And so I'm wondering if the thought of Megan potentially being there with these royal kids um, would, as you say, pull attention and make them feel less important in their eyes. But I have a flip perspective on this because everyone has seen that their popularity has been dwindling. You have more people in your country speaking out about what is it that they're really doing, right? You have people looking into their numbers for volunteer service or charity events and seeing that they're not working as much, and the queen pulled X amount of hours even in her late days, X, Y, and Z. But would this not be to a benefit to them? Would this not be like the adrenaline that the royal family could benefit from, and a further, like, I don't know, push towards them, like igniting their popularity, right? You have people paying attention now. You have more people paying attention for the fact that these individuals, they're royals, even though they're not in the mix of royal events and everything else, and they're not living in the UK, but there's interest there. So
Yeah.
what's the issue? Like, you guys are dying as far as popularity and people wanting to have any interest in what's going on. There's a concern for how long you guys are going to be able to extend your monarchy out into, like, I don't know how many decades after these kids grow up. Like, what's going to happen with them? There's a huge question mark around William, who's the next in throne. So if you have something that can come in, or someone that can come in and reignite that vigor, that enthusiasm, why would you not take that opportunity and use it to your benefit? But see, here's the thing that their issue is: they're more concerned in their selfishness, in their hate, in their, like, bubble mentality that they have to not have the peripheral vision to see what could potentially benefit them down the road.
Yeah.
They're not seeing the bigger picture in this, and all they see is that someone else could come in and they're going to be more popular, people are going to pay more attention to them, they're going to forget about us, and we're not going to seem like we have the power anymore. And I think that's just crazy.
Yeah. I don't think anybody in this institution is thinking straight. I think that William is blind with rage and jealousy. I mean, it's been proven at this point that he's just waiting for his father to depart this earth. Charles, it seems, has not reined in William, and also has his own issues with jealousy and envy, as he did when Diana was still alive. Camilla is a bitter hag, as she has always been. Kate I think is incredibly envious also, but she's just a mannequin that does what she's told and is hanging on for dear life. I think she actually did won the battle of the divorce. I think they came to some kind of arrangement. And I actually don't think that they're gonna divorce anymore. I don't. I did for some time, but I don't think they will now. I think some kind of agreement was arranged. That's why you see Carol Milton smiling and chirping away at Ascot. Well,
Sorry, I know you want to wrap up. Did
no, no,
you see the
no.
People magazine pictures of, speaking of Carol Middleton, did you see the recent pictures with the family as they posed with William and Kate
Oh
and the
yes.
kids? Yeah.
Oh yes. Have I still got them in my
I,
bank? Yeah, there we go.
look, I was you said something just now that I'm like, yeah, you're 100% right. There's some agreement that was met because I can't remember the last time that we saw something like that.
Yeah.
Like they're really doing the pandering, like they're like, we got to make this work. And I don't know what agreement was had in that 1 year where she was missing. Remember, there was a whole year where we hadn't seen her. It was after the holiday, and then like they're like, where is she? Is this her? This is not her.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, like she started coming out again, and now you're seeing these photos and this image of what looks like a normal looking family, right? And Carol Milton is there posing with all of them with William at her side. And it's like, this is weird.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
No, I was just saying that it was just like we saw this photo of Carol Middleton posing next to William's side in this photo. And it was just strange because this is not something that we've typically seen in like
See.
the last couple years, right?
Yeah. I mean, I remember there was that Herb Essences looking promo that they did after Kate's recovery, and there was a very short shot of the Middleton family all sitting around a table, and then the only other time I really see them front and center is together at Christmas and the Christmas walk. But aside from that, especially when Kate was actually going through this cancer recovery, you never saw them. In fact, when Kate was at the hospital, I think they only showed up once, but Camilla showed up. Camilla made sure to show up 3 times at that hospital when Charles was there. We didn't see Kate go into that hospital. We didn't see Kate go out. We've now learned, I don't know if you know this, light side, if you've been keeping up, but the lady who tried to get access to Kate's medical documents, she was sanctioned.
Wow.
So, I think all types of interesting things are going to come out one day. But tomorrow is its own judgment day, it would seem, because they seem to be panicking. What are they panicking about? At the end of the day, if they knew that Harry was going to bring this lawsuit, they knew that the Daily Fell and its ragmag writers were part of this lawsuit. So why then did Charles and Camilla bring in one of the former editors right into the royal house? Friends close, enemies closer. It doesn't always work. I think these people aren't as smart as they think they are.
But okay, so look, if you got to go to sleep, let me know. 'Cause, I mean, I have
Oh no,
questions,
no,
but
no. Carry on. It's only 9.
I I'm wondering about something with that uh update from Harry's lawsuit. That I remember hearing you say that, well, one of the reasons they said was he didn't give enough time. The other reason is that they have this announcement that's going to be coming out because of this case, and they didn't want things to be muddied or something to that effect. Um, so they're freaking out, but like, and I know, so I think Rebecca posted this, like, and she's right. You know, I sometimes like to fall back on rationality because it keeps me sane when it comes to situations like this. But I understand we're not dealing with a rational or normal
People.
um
Yeah.
family. And so in this situation, I would think like, you, regardless of what kind of strife you're having or little tough that you're having within your family dynamic, that you would think that you'd still try to do the right thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So for them to fall back on the fact that this case has come up and that there's could be a potential announcement that would affect X, Y, and Z is again nonsensical. And it really isn't adding up one bit. So to me, it seems like this is, and you're right, it goes back to like this institution being a business, right? It's run like a
Yeah.
business. And so they're treating the situation and the potential outcome as a business transaction. We can't have our competitors be seen with each other. We can't talk to each other. There are legal things in place that states that we can't have any kind of fraternizing because it's going to affect the court case. This is what that sounds like. But you're dealing with a family member. Regardless of what happens, you're dealing with a family member. You guys they all know what really happened. We, as the outsiders
Yeah.
looking in, have some information, but we don't have all the information. And so I think it's
Yeah.
crazy that in knowing this and understanding this history and this context, that even at this point, with knowing that they were going to be in the UK again, that their excuse is falling back on this one issue. It's giving, I want to find an excuse to not make this happen at all. And I don't care.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest with you,
100%.
I hope that family suffers even more because of this. I hope this backfires even more. Like they have not won anything. And all the decisions
Yeah.
that have dealt with Harry and Meghan in the past, with them not providing either security or doing something that's shady, going back to the cottage, whatever the situation is, none of those circumstances, when it's culminated, has benefited them in any way. They keep losing, they keep making bad decisions. And so I don't understand how they're looking at this situation, making these decisions right now, not thinking that this is going to fall badly on the royal family and make it even look worse. And the temperature that I'm getting from citizens in the UK is that they're getting really tired of this whole situation. I know there's still people that hate Meghan. I know there's still people that still hate Harry for leaving and going to the United States and leaving the royal family, feel like he's betrayed them. But I feel like there's been a slow uprising of people being more outspoken with what they're seeing. And this is just not going over well. There's a lady who
No.
said on social media, I am not typically a Harry supporter in any way. I usually fall on the side of the royal family. And she even stated clearly that this whole situation was completely crazy. So I
Yeah.
don't know who is like giving them prompts and what they're supposed to be doing, but this is not going to go over well for them.
No. I think well. Let me thank you so much, Lexa. Let me just give Fatimata a moment to speak, and then I can bring you back in. Hi, Fatimata.
Oh, sorry, it's the morning. I was listening to you like few hours ago. I didn't sleep today. Um,
You didn't sleep. Has
yeah.
the court case got you? The court case has got you up too.
No. I did not. I wasn't able to sleep. That's all. I listened to Baron, and then I listened to you. And then I've been following. I'm getting off Twitter today. I'm not gonna continue. I always say that it's either two things. Either Prince Ali is still on the illusion that his father loves him. It's just people
Mm,
who's coming between them, or he wanna make perfectly clear how his family is treating me regarding security. That they really want him to be harmed. I don't know which way is it now. Because I think they. If you sit back, you always say. I always say I don't know the family personally to make a prediction. The only thing you can say is what you see, is what you heard here. But
mm,
for me, I know a long time ago that they did not like him and they hated Megan. And I didn't
yeah.
know how they feel about the children. Today, I believe they're showing Prince Harry, we really, really hate you and we'll be okay if you die. When I don't know if you followed the court case regarding the security. They answer to the question about what if something bad happened to Harry and his family. The palace answer was if something bad, like if they get killed, for example, the
Yeah, it
public
wouldn't.
won't be
Yeah.
as upset as they
Yes,
were when Princess Diana was dead.
I
That's
remember
like,
this. Yes.
yes, that's like black and white say. screw you. Since the public won't go against us, we're okay if you die and your family. We're good with that. Just there will be no backlash. And this will be also 2 days story, and they're gonna go back because there's a reason they have the Daily Mail people on their side. They know how to
Yes.
manipulate the public. They've been doing this for 100 years. The Daily Mail supported the Nazi regime, and then
Yep.
they're
Back
always
during
on
the
the wrong
war.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they always know how to manipulate people. And even the people who disagree with the monarchy, like there's no they're not gonna go and let's see, like the revolution like France did. It's not gonna happen. The I know that they do want the approval of the people, at least maybe 40% of the people, so they can stay where they are, and they have many people around them to help that happen. I just feel bad for Prince Harry because he's against two very powerful institutions. The media and
And
the
oh
crown
gosh,
are the oldest, and
sorry, I
he's
put
not
the
in
wrong
that camp.
picture on the screen. That you're not meant to see that. One sec. Sorry.
These two are the oldest and most powerful institution in this in that country, and they're all against him.
Yeah.
And if Meghan was unpopular, as they always say in their polls, why not let her come and show her how much people hated her? They know it's not
Exactly, because they
true.
know, yeah, they know they're going to get the biggest crowd. But just give me 1 second, Fatimata. I'm going to let you continue. Marilyn, I'm going to let you go, let you speak after Fatimata. But can you just check your device and make sure that it's connected? Because I can see device is not connected. So maybe I'm going to post the invite link again, and maybe go out and then maybe come back in again and then try and join again, and then I can let you speak after Fatimata. Okay. Just give me 1 sec. Let me. Okay, sorry, Fatima. You can continue. Let me just let you back in. There we go.
Mm. I was saying, if Megan is as hated as they're telling us, let her come in. Let the people show her how much they hate her, and she won't go back. They know it's not true. They know the best ideas come from Harry and Meghan. They know that if they let them in like one or two, three times, the public will be on their side. They will demand for them to come back because they do actual work. They don't pretend. They don't pretend to climb mountains. And have anybody check how much was raised from the climb mountain nonsense? Did she give anything? Did they raise any money? It has nothing to do with doing good. It's just this splash PR. I used to read about Princess Diana doing doing, for example, auction of her dresses that raised so much money for different charities that she was supporting. She used to do these galas. They invite her, and the people pay money come in. She always raised a lot of money. Megan with the cookbook raised more money than they ever did with the other two welders did for the last decade. Just one book was able to fund that kitchen. Imagine if she was still there doing that type of work. But it is what it is. I just feel bad for the children because you want your children to know your country if it's safe. But if I feel like he should consider, like, for him that's a war zone, he cannot go for now. And his brother is
Yeah.
promising worse. I don't know what he's gonna do. I think he's even gonna try to evict them from their house in California. That's how angry he is. So, and anyway, thank you.
No, respect. I don't know. Very always glad to have your input. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else come up on the feed so far. Well, before I go back to light side, what do you think the outcome of tomorrow is? Do you think this is all because Harry won?
I don't know. You never know with these things. But so far, he's been correct. Except the court case, the rest he's been winning with Megan. he was able to get the son to apologize to his mother. Like, he's been winning. I
Yeah.
don't think he's very smart. This idea, he's a dumb man that was started to make William look good. You cannot tell me somebody can conduct the Apache helicopter who's a dummy. That's impossible. He's a very smart man. That's why he had to be. I think he was told to reduce 25% of himself to make William look good. That was never said, but that's in my thought. So I think he might. I don't know if they give them like an advanced stuff to see, but if they're using that as a reason, that mean they have an idea that Prince Harry might win the case, because he's been taking only the only cases the only he's been winning the all the one that he has sued, he has won so far. So they probably have an idea.
Yeah.
Which is another question. Why you worry about what the Daily Mail thinks?
Well, because they've been in bed with the Daily Mail. Even
I know
let's not
that,
also
but to a
forget
point
that
that you worry that if he wins, they might do what? Tell another secret? Like, it's really, really
maybe.
murky.
Also, don't forget, I was going to say that Kai Starmer's Labour
Mm.
government refused to reopen an inquiry, which would have gone into police corruption with the press, because the first Leveson inquiry was about hacking, blagging, and all of that stuff. The second Leveson inquiry was meant to be about looking into how the police and the press, the corruption between
The press and the police.
yeah, and so that was actually cancelled some time ago, after Leveson 1 finished, and there was a
Yeah, I
call
think
for
the other
Labour to
the
bring it back, but they didn't.
yeah, I think the prime minister who organized Brexit, I forget his name. He's
Like
the one who
Cameron.
canceled. Yes, he canceled that.
Yeah,
He's the one who also made it possible for the crown to get its funding double every year. They don't have to submit anything. They will go directly. They will get almost triple the funding next year, I think, or in 2 years. He's the one who also set that up.
that is true. Yes.
They're not gonna do that.
All right.
He's not gonna. Prince Harry will never get that security. I think the only way he can get that security is to send them a draft of his the pages left on his book, and he will put etc.
Yeah.
at the end, and say, "Oh, you give me security, this one will stay in the closet. If you don't, we might have to come out of the closet."
No, I think if Harry actually blackmailed them, they will go absolutely berserk. Like they will literally press the kill switch, because they won't even take that as like a light threat. They will take that as, okay, he's trying to destroy the whole
Mm-hmm.
institution. I don't think it would be a good idea for Harry to do that, but Harry's a better person than me.
I
Now,
think
if it's
you cannot
me,
play
you better
nice
believe I'm being that
evil.
petty.
Not petty. You have to play. You have to evil. You have to meet evil with evil. You cannot play nice with people. I think he's shown that he's a nice man. At this point, I think sometimes you have to take your leverage. Tell us little something about William. Is he really a Prince of Peggy? Does he have a gambling problem? Or just you don't even have to say it directly. Like, just give little and tell them, okay, I have few things on my, because they don't know what he has. They don't know what Megan has. Let's just tell them, I need my security, or we all will be unsafe.
Do you know what's actually crazy? Donald Trump is probably a more father and grandfather than Charles. Like, that's how ridiculous this is.
Yes.
We reached a new low.
He does have his
All
family.
right.
His family is always defending him. Whatever he's doing for them or doing with them, they always defending him. You will never hear any of his grandchildren do anything, say anything, or his children. They're all defending him. So somebody can
Yeah.
be maybe not a so good person, but be a good parent. I don't know, but whatever he's doing, he's been able to content his family to make them happy. And I also think sometimes King, he's from everything we hear about him, he's only about worry about him. But I think this time he listened to his heir. I think his heir threw a tantrum because of what happened last time. Prince Harry went to Nottingham and gave them money. There was such a, and then he won the case. Everybody was applauding him, and he threw tantrum for a whole week, telling people how angry he was. He's
Yeah.
gonna take away the children title, blah 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 blah. And I think this time I read one article where he was saying that he let go of Camilla because he wanted the unison of the family. But if his father, like, if you play with me, I will go back against you. Like, that's how he read. So maybe he said,
Yeah.
okay, I don't want to deal with this. Let's give him what he wants for now.
I think it's going to be a very interesting time when William becomes king. I remember actually when Charles was being coronated, that was actually the busiest my podcast has ever been. And
Yeah.
the most my podcast has ever grown. So I am looking forward to whenever that day comes. All right. Light, thank you so much for Tomato. Light, do you want to just give us some thank you so much for Tomato. Light side, do you want to give us some closing remarks? Oops, I think I accidentally removed you
Yeah.
there. Let's add you again.
Just that I think that Harry should dump his father. And I'm not kidding, really, but I think that I think that Charles has just proven over and over again that he's just not a good dad to Harry, and Harry keeps trying to extend an olive branch to him in hopes because he knows that he's aging and he's probably dying, right? But probably knows a lot more than we do, so he keeps trying to do the upstanding thing by keeping that door cracked with him. But I feel like just sever that at this point. You know,
Mm,
I'm just frustrated with like how even in his last days he hasn't been able to get himself to do the right thing for his son and his son's family. And so at this point, like, there are too many things at risk and lives at stake for them to be playing around like that. So I wish Harry
mm,
the best at his court case tomorrow, or whatever is going to be coming out. I wish him the best. I hope that something fruitful comes out of this, and that they keep moving um, that marker forward into trying to get justice for that whole situation. But we're going to be watching. I mean, everyone's watching at this point, and I think history is not going to look kindly on that royal family in this period after the queen passed away. Um, I think they're going to look back on it and they are going to evaluate everything that was and was not done. And they're going to look at it in contrast
yeah.
to Harry and what he's trying to do and say that this was a tragedy. And you know what? The last thing I'm going to say
Mm,
is this. I find it really fascinating that there's so many people online still, so many people in the country that are very comfortable in still saying, you know, whatever if they don't get security or protection. And I always try to look at life through this lens. Like, we are here now living in the present. And if we were to imagine what things would be like a few years down the road, several years down the road, and think of the outcomes of choices that we make. One of those choices
mhm,
being what would happen if Harry and Meghan and their kids were to show up in the UK without security, and what it would look like if
mm,
something like another Diana situation were to happen to them. And I imagine that
mm,
what you would see on the media, because they can't look as monsters as they probably are, and what you would see from the royal family, because they can't look like the monsters that they probably are, is our most sincerest condolences. We love them, and this is not something that we wanted to have happen. It is going to be, we're sorry, and we regret that this has happened, and this is devastating to us, and all of these things, instead of doing the right thing from the beginning. And I think that's how we all need to look at the situation. What should you do now, and what needs to be done now? And what choices need to happen now to prevent that from happening, because it can happen. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for those closing remarks. Absolutely excellent. Thank you also to Tomato who rang in. Sorry to Marilyn, for some reason just couldn't get the device to work. But I will be doing a call-in, I think, tomorrow. I will be on standby. It will be late, I think, for me, whenever we get the news of tomorrow's judgment. I'm assuming probably by late afternoon, and I will do call-ins as soon as that happens. Marilyn, you said, having challenges of live stream, just wanted to say Prince Harry plays a long game. This is a system that has been slowly winning. Yeah. Listen, I don't think at this point that Harry seriously believes that his father's going to change. I don't. I also think that a lot of this is just about, let's get stuff on the record, you know, let's make sure that the narrative isn't going to get changed in the future. You said, I want him to release the book so bad. So do I. I think it's coming after Charles has passed away, if you ask me. Robin, you said, all this is setting a narrative to dumb people that are gullible, then turn it around to make it difficult for the Sussexes or to control the crowd. Yes. C-Mac, you said, don't forget in Spare when they took that little walk when Harry came back, the only thing Charles and William were concerned about is if he was going to continue with his lawsuit. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. I believe that William is being blackmailed. And possibly Charles, but I think William more so. They're concerned about the lawsuits also because it's not just what the tabloids know about them, it's whether or not the tabloids continue to cover them. That's another massive thing. Do they get those front pages? Mind you, like I said, you can get the front page every day as Donald Trump does. Does that mean he's liked? No. It's not about the front page. It's about how impactful are you? How much do people authentically like you? That's what it's about. And they're so lost in this super popularity contest and getting the front pages. That's all they think about. Getting the front pages, let's get out, smile and wave here and there. Listen, truth be told, all of this royal engagements, showing up, smiling and waving here and there, that is confined to the UK. The only time the day-to-day activities of the royals make international news is when they're doing their overseas tours, and it's usually only in that country. You don't have international press from all the other countries flying to wherever it is that royals are doing tours. And even then, the last time there was any real interest in an overseas royal tour was William and Kate's disaster trip. And it became a trip of interest because it was a disaster. So it's like they're doing all of this. They're so desperate for attention. They're so paranoid about Harry and Meghan taking all of the attention. But it's like, excuse me, it's only pockets of people in the UK that even really pay attention. Anyway, I could ramble about this for another 2 hours, but I've already gone on 1 hour. It's getting to 9:40. I have to go outside with my cat and bring him back inside the house. Those of you who didn't catch the morning podcast, go give that a listen. And I will be here tomorrow when that news comes in, because I think a hell of a lot of stuff is going to come out this week also. I will see you tomorrow, folks. Ciao.